All right, welcome back to the Homestand Show. Justin Pooni, Albert Vartanian. Time to talk some Blue Jays, and unfortunately, we're probably going to talk about Alek Manoah again. Not because we don't want to talk about him, but we
We
kind of
have to
have
talk
to.
about.
And I need to understand what's happening with him. He's got optioned down to the Florida Complex League. I need to know, what is that? What is the Complex League? What's he doing down there? Is he pitching? Is he stretching? Is he hanging out on the beach, trying to get his head right? Right? What's he
And I
doing?
tell you, if I can play in the Florida Complex
No,
League,
you can't play on the Florida Complex League.
why not?
You can't play on the Homestand Show Beer League. Never mind
You
the
don't have a
Complex
team
League.
here on Homestand anyway.
You know who I take on the Homestand Show Beer
Not
League
producer
team?
Sean.
No. One Andrew Zuber. The Zoobs joins the
Hey,
show. Zoobs, how you doing, man?
I feel great, fellas. Yeah, I'm excited. Always happy to talk ball. You know me. Blue Jays have won 6 of 7. Let's talk about the one and only thing going wrong right now, of course.
Yeah, we have to. This is how we got to start this. Let's start the show with the negative, get it out of the way, and then we'll talk about Bassitt and Gosman and all the good stuff happening around the Jays. Okay, so Manoah optioned. I think most of us, if not all of us, saw this coming. But what does this mean, him getting it sent down to the Complex League?
So the Complex League, basically, you're resetting this to 0. Basically, you're getting this down to treating him as if he is a brand new draft pick. And let's take a look at what he has for stuff. The Florida Complex League is essentially, he's going to be down there pitching to 16 and 17-year-old, really raw, like Dominican prospects or guys who've just signed. This is almost more about pitching in front of a lot of coaches and pitching in front of a lot of computers that are giving you information than it is about results. It's going to be about spin rate. It's going to be about control. And I think the reason they're going all the way down to the Complex League versus going to AAA is there's basically no cameras. There's going to be no footage. It's going to be completely dark. We're going to go back to 0 with Alek Manoah. Not that people are binging Buffalo Bison's baseball, but if you knew that Alek Manoah was pitching in Buffalo, you would probably tune in to see what his line is. That's not what's going to happen here. He is going to down to below A minus baseball, basically. So the Complex League, I would almost take the word league out of that. Is going to the Florida Complex. He's going down there to pitch in front of computers and pitch in front of coaches and get an idea of pinpointing what exactly is the issue here. Obviously, the short answer is that it's control. His fastball has abandoned him, and it has cost him his slider as an out pitch because of that. So, I would try to take the word league. I would take the word games out of your thoughts here. He's down to the Florida Complex to just have examining where he is right now and what exactly is going wrong.
And so this also sounds like maybe a confidence exercise, right? You want to boost that confidence. So he's pitching to some guys he could probably blow the ball past, right? Because I feel like that should be at the top of the priority list here. I know you could talk about mechanics and all these things, but based on what he said post game, how he's feeling, how he looks, how he reacts to getting yanked out of games, it's a huge hit to his confidence right now.
Absolutely. And no further evidence that you need than last year when he was pitching really well. He was very chest out. He was very
Oh
loud.
yeah.
He was very brash. There was no mistaking when he was feeling good. On the other side of that coin is there is no mistaking when he is feeling bad. That's sort of the fuel for him. Both sides of the coin being what they are. You're absolutely right. It's a confidence thing, sort of part and parcel with that Complex League stuff. This is going to be a lot less about results against hitters as it will be where are you putting the ball in the strike zone? Where are you putting the fastball where you want it to go? The Justin Poonis of the world in the batter's box swinging at his pitches are not sort of irrelevant. It's his relationship with the batter's box and with the strike zone right now than it is with the hitters in the box and what they're doing off of it.
I love that little dig at Justin
He
Pooni. I
said he
got
could
one more.
play in the M.
I
He
wouldn't.
said he
Hey, I
play
could
in
take
the
Alek Manoah to the grass of the
You would take
outfield.
him to the grass tree, but okay. One more thing quickly. With Alek Manoah, I guess not in the lineup right now. Just in your opinion, how long do you think this could possibly take?
This is the issue, and this is the corner that they painted themselves in this offseason. There's no sixth starter. There's nobody they're calling up. There's nobody that's coming to save them. Mitch White is not even going to be a starter anymore. You could say Bowden Francis maybe. It's not especially a rush. You want him to be ready when he's back, but there's no depth. Like there's no extra starters. Mitch White's not going to do it. You're waiting for Hyunjin Ryu to come back from Tommy John. He was also questionable for the back half of 2021 and most of 2022. He didn't pitch very well. This is the corner they painted themselves in. They can't afford any injuries. They can't afford any slippage. And this is the problem. If you wanted to look at, what's the crack in the foundation that could doom this team, it's this exact situation where they're down even one starter. And now you're in a situation where Forget what if they don't have Gosman. Forget what if they don't have Bassitt. What if they lost Kikuchi right now? What if they lost
Yeah.
the number 5 right now? They'd be in trouble. So it's going to have to be solved. They don't have a long-term solution if Manoah doesn't get it sorted out. I don't know. You'd like to think this gets sorted out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's sort of, you want to go into July knowing who your 5 are, because then you know how you're going to approach the deadline. But we talked the confidence thing. If he goes down there and feels great, that's one thing. Is he going to be able to come back up and weather the storms? Is he going to be able to come back up and give up a few walks early in a game and stick in it? That's going to be the pass or fail of this whole thing.
Speaking of starting pitching, the Jays might not need an extra starter because of the way Chris Bassitt and Kevin Gosman are pitching right now. Bassitt last night, 8 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Zoobs, what can you say about Chris Bassitt and just how consistent he's been this season for the Jays after that rough start he had?
What an incredible signing! I mean, been worth the money and then some. They've invested in veterans in their rotations. Much as maybe the idea of the Blue Jays right now, because of Vladdy and Bo, is that it's a young team with a young core. The rotation, aside from Manoah, is all guys in their mid to early 30s. You have Gosman that also describes. He's been sort of exactly what they need. A guy that goes out, works quickly, works efficiently, gives you bullpen days off. This is back to back. I think he has 17 innings pitched in his last 2 games. Manoah not being there, you're especially at the top of the rotation. The next 2 guys are really important, and those 2 guys are leading the league, the American League, that is, in innings pitched, and that's really like so valuable. Which is part of what makes sort of the lack of depth sort of crazy and frustrating. Is like they made 3 free agent acquisitions this offseason. All 3 of them are working out really well. Bassitt has been very good. Belt has been very good lately, and Kiermaier has been a revelation. So you're like, oh, do that a 4th time, get a 4th outfielder, get a 6th pitcher, would have been awfully nice. But yeah, can't say enough about Bassitt. What a pleasure he is to watch. Last night's game, just over 2 hours, getting it done in 80 pitches, that sort of stuff, especially in the modern game when you're talking about pitch clocks, when you're talking about having to work quickly and decisively. A guy that gets it done that efficiently is really, really valuable. So they've really hit on a pretty impressive top 2.
Now, Jose Barrios takes the mound tonight against the Astros, against Framber Valdez. Barrios, he was not the guy that they thought he would be when they acquired him from the Twins, a couple of years ago, but he's getting pretty close to that level, is he not, Zoobs?
Yeah, for sure. And this is the benefit that having Bassitt and Gosman and hypothetically Manoah there gets you, is it's like if he's a number 4, then you're sitting pretty. You can afford some slippage. Right now he's thrust into number 3. You expected him when he came over to be a number 2 or a number 1. But in terms of where he is slotting into the rotation right now, which is 3-4, depending on your Manoah situation, you'll take 3.6 ERA. That's just fine. I think we're past the point as well where every bad start, every bad inning is a referendum on who he is as a pitcher. He has rediscovered the control, which is really, really important. And he's really leaned into what works for him, which is, the sinker and the sweeper has really been evident that he is leaning on his big pitches. He is going with what works. He is not trying to sort of reinvent himself over and over again. That's been really important, and that is sort of a key lesson and a key learning to get out of some of these struggles from pitchers sometimes, is going back to like what your best stuff is and going back to what absolutely definitely works can be the solve a lot of the time.
We're speaking to Andrew Zuber right now. So Brandon Belt getting MVP chance right now. And I was looking at some of his numbers. So since May 6th, in average, he's 2nd, OBP 1st, slugging 4th, OPS 2nd. I know they expected him to make some sort of an impact, but even the Blue Jays have to be surprised at what he's doing right now, right?
Especially factoring in how we looked in the first month, where the first month of the season, it was like, wow, Brandon Belt's going to be one of those like, hey, remember when Brandon Belt took 100 at-bats for the 2023 Blue Jays? It was going to be a trivia question once upon a time. But no, he's been exactly what you expected him, and exactly as advertised. A guy that has no interest in swinging in bad pitches. He is locked in his at-bats. His at-bats is his time. You're going to throw his pitches in his count. I really enjoy watching him. I think he's a guy that, the word professional hitter is really sort of blasé and it's sort of cliche, but he really is that. You can see him controlling his at-bats from the batter's box. The problem early in the year was he wasn't, he had the shortened spring, and he felt like he didn't have the bat speed to catch up. He has caught that up. And I think on a young team, a fun team on the offensive side of the ball, he really is sort of a fun figure for them to have in the lineup and in the dugout to sort of say, like, here's a calm, controlled veteran who has been there, done that, and knows exactly what it takes to get it done. He's been a pleasure in the middle of that lineup.
Okay, in terms of tonight, do you think the Jays get it done to hopefully win this series against the Astros? Which, if you asked this question maybe a couple weeks ago, you'd have been like, "Yeah, you're crazy. That's not happening."
Yeah, I mean, this is how it goes. They're not playing an AL East team, so it feels pretty good that they're probably going to win.
right.
It's nice. It's nice at least the Astros are a fairly good team. I will say that they do. I think the vibes are rolling high. I think the Bassitt, the what they've gotten out of the rotation the last 2 times through, the bullpen is fresh and they're ready. And off of the
Yeah.
Manoah blow up that caused this whole thing on Monday, you now have some rested guys that haven't pitched in a couple days. Your aces, your big guys, other than Romano, didn't have to get used yesterday. You should be able to basically adjust to whatever happens in this game and put it into winning this one, because I believe the winner of this game gets the tiebreaker. Well, that's very far ahead in the future, but it's important to bank those wins when you can get them. So I'll throw a line of faith into tonight's Blue Jays game.
I love it. I'm with you. Just a game and a half, or sorry, yeah, game and a half back of a wild card spot. So the Jays are getting into a good position despite some early season worries. Zoobs, thanks again for doing this, man.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Anytime, fellas.
You're the best, man. Thank you so much. Andrew Zuber, ladies and gentlemen. I almost want to, every time he finishes, I just want to give him a little standing ovation.
I want to give a round of applause to
Who?
Toronto Blue Jay fans. 1.7 expected hot dogs for every Looney Tuesday.
We need to relax with the hot dogs here. Like, we shouldn't be eating this many hot dogs.
215,000
Yeah.
hot dogs have been consumed on Looney Dog days.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Bravo,
We
Blue
got
Jay
to throw
fans.
me and Sean in there. It's a wrap. We're going to jump to 2 quickly. Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to talk some puck with Chris Johnston of North Star Bets.